Hi, and welcome to the Fit Warrior Life podcast. I'm your host, Chitra Rojlani, NASM certified weight loss and body transformation coach. This podcast is focused on debunking myths, providing inspiration, tools, and resources to help you get in the best shape of your life, no matter what age, stage, or phase you're in. In this podcast, you will get to hear from real life warriors who are killing it in their fitness journey so they can inspire you. I will also bring in experts from different fields in the wellness arena so they can help us live our best life. And of course, since this entire journey began with my personal weight loss of 80 pounds 6 years ago, I will be sharing all of my biggest life lessons I have learned through the struggles and triumphs that I went through. My motto is win the mind, win the body, and I want to help you do just that. So let's get right to it. In today's episode, we are going to hear from my good friend, Seema Chandane. She is a dance teacher and has relatively been in good shape. But after the quarantine hit, she knew that it was time to take some massive action. Let's hear her story. Hey, Seema, welcome to the podcast. So excited to have you here.
Thank you, Chitra. Thank you. I was so looking forward to being here.
I can't wait. All right, so let's dive right in. Before we even, get into the nitty gritty of how we work together, let's talk about let's take it back to the beginning and talk about what were you doing before we started working together.
Okay, so to start with, I don't think I was a person with a regular fitness routine. I was always off and on things. Never really had followed any diet plan, but I never ate really crazily unhealthy at the same time. But so I did hop on, some gyms in between, and then did tried some yoga, but I always knew I had the strength factor missing, and things could be better. So I always knew that.
So you've been active. I know you teach dance for that's one of your passions, teaching dance. So you have been active. You are eating relatively healthy, and that's something oddly enough, a lot of the people that come to me are trying to eat healthy more or less. It's just that
Mhm.
sometimes they don't know what it means to eat healthy, or what are the details of that whole process.
Right.
So what would you say was your, sort of goal in terms of, finally looking at, my program? Because you did my Empowered Weight Loss program, which is my 90-day intensive for those that don't know. And what finally inspired you to take that step?
Okay, so like I said, with an active lifestyle, relatively clean eating, I always knew that as I was aging, there was a strength factor I should be working at. I knew I would, my metabolism would slow down at some point. I've been blessed with it for most of my life, but I knew like things were coming where I would need help. And of course, I knew all about your work because you were just around me, and I was seeing you day in and day out. So I always had the desire to work with you. I don't that's not even a surprise. Like, I always wanted to work with you. But again, given the things in life, I could not find the right time. But then what happened was during COVID, I literally went on a cooking spree, gained a ton of weight. So I literally piled up pounds. And at that point, I tried intermittent fasting, whatever. I tried a couple of things on my end, but the scale just wouldn't move. And I was not working out crazy or anything like that. So I think just my lifestyle was just going down in terms of not being active, lots of sit down time, things like that. So I finally said that I need help. That's when I figured out that I probably have to have help, because there was so much around, the info was
Mhm.
there,
Yeah.
but I was like, I need somebody whom I can just trust. And that's when there was just no second thought. I knew you were around. And
Yeah.
very fortunately, I don't know, I think this was meant to be. You were just launching your Empowered Weight Loss program.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really did not know what was going to happen in the program, but I was like, hey, this is Chitra. You know, I
I
have to
love
do
that.
this.
I love
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you hit upon a very important thing, right? Is that you had, there is knowledge out there. A lot of people kind of know what they should be doing in terms of, what they have to do to lose weight, but there's still a lot of misinformation too, right? So even though you had tried a couple of things on your own, you weren't seeing the results that you were hoping for. Right. And I
Absolutely.
think
Yep.
quarantine did a number on a lot of us, right? Where, we were all kind of like baking a lot and cooking a lot. And, we were doing it to keep ourselves engaged, keep our kids occupied, to keep everyone happy. But, of course, before you know it, those little, pounds creep up and they add up, unfortunately. But I think, I would love to just commend you for taking action, right? Because you didn't wait for that, 5 pounds to become 10, 10 to become 15. And it was like, you decided right away that you needed help and you reached out to me. And it was really, I think it was meant to be because it was the last day
Yep.
of the sign up and you were like, sign me up. This is it. I'm ready. So I am so glad that we finally got to work together. It was so fun having you in the program, and like you said, we've known each other a long time and we've talked about working together a few times before that. But I always say when the stars align, when everything's meant to be, it will be. So I'm glad that it happened now. And let's go right into what that experience was for you. That Empowered Weight Loss program, once you signed up, what was your initial reaction?
Yes, it was an absolutely big change. So again, I did not come with a baggage of diet or anything like that. So and the one thing I knew before getting into the program was I'm going to do my best. I have the best with me. I'm going to trust, I'm going to do my best. That was going to be my approach. And that's what I did, frankly speaking. So it was perfect in another way as well. The 3 months program
Right.
duration, that was
You like
another
that.
plus for me because I really like that. Because you know what? A 1 month thing, I would do it and then forget it and be
Mm,
back on the same track. For something to be sustainable and take, at least for me, be knowing
yeah,
me myself, I need to do it for a prolonged time to see whether this works for me, to see, and it also becomes kind of a habit
true.
by the time you do it
Yeah.
for
And
three.
there's actually science to prove that. They say it takes 21 days to create a habit and 90 days to make it a lifestyle.
Wow,
So
so probably
yeah.
you did look into it before you designed it,
That was the
probably.
idea. Yeah, I did some research
That's
before I
great.
did that, and I'm glad that that resonated with you because it's true. And I've been a part of those smaller challenges, and while they give you that jump start, it's
Mhm.
almost like it's really hard to then maintain those habits. Or in the beginning, it's so many different changes that you're still wrapping your head around it by day 30, even though you've seen some results. But that's great to know that that was well received for me as well because then it reaffirms that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah,
So let's talk about, in the Empowered, you talked about the three M's. The Empowered Weight Loss is all about meal prep, movement, and mindset. Do you think that there was one area more than the other where you needed more help?
okay, I definitely knew that mindset was something that I would need help with because even though I was determined to do what it takes, but I was like, food is kind of my weakness, and I did not know whether I could like um, go on a diet or do a certain food regime or things like that. So yes, I really needed help with the mindset, but the way you guided and like the things opened up step by step in the program. So it was kind of growing and learning and adapting, which kept on
Mm,
happening all throughout the program. And of course you did work on the mindset factor, and there were so many new things that I've picked up because of your program, which are not even geared towards weight loss or clean eating, but mindfulness, self-care, and things like that. So that factor for me is awesome, that you've
Mm,
incorporated that. But again, in terms of meal prep, everything was very well balanced. I would say all the three aspects, all the three M's were equally important, and the meal prep was like awesome, awesome, awesome for me because it just helped me learn how how to eat clean, and
mm.
clean eating could be fun. Initially, it was mind-boggling just looking at the meal prep, but again, the structured step by step. Once I think every time we would speak to you in a call, it would feel like, okay, we got this. And then when you start working on your own, you kind of feel a little shaky, but then you were always there to come back and tell us, hey, it's okay, I'm there, let's work this out together. And like I said, you always had an answer for any question that we would put
Yeah.
out. So that was kind of, so your experience basically was just so
Mm.
important that things could unfold easily.
All right, so let's talk about some of your results because honestly, and I've told you this before, but my mind was blown from your results because I knew you were active, I knew you were a dancer, I knew you were eating like relatively healthy. You're on the leaner side when I look at you, you're tall and lean. It's not like you had a lot of weight you had to lose. So, at the end of the first month, you lost what?
7.3. Yeah, that
7.3 pounds, people.
was
Like my mind was blown. And even like in terms of body percentage, right? The body fat percentage, you lost the most weight percentage. And that was mind blowing to me. And over the 3 months, you ended up losing a total of 14 pounds, right?
yes, yes.
Out of
I can't even believe it till date. I'm like, wow, wow. Because
Yeah.
I can't tell you how that scale before I got with your program. Oh my God, that scale would just go up. It never came down. And this program, like 4 weeks and boom, it
seven
was,
pounds down.
yeah, it was so
Yeah.
awesome. It was so awesome. But again, the other fact that I did not touch upon was the exercise, and along with the meal prep, when the workouts were, they were hard initially. Okay. I just used to tell myself, Seema, show up. And
Yeah.
that's all you need to do. Just show up. So I would just not even think. I would just wear my shoes and just show up. And, whatever happens, 45 minutes later, we'll think about it. But now I kind of started enjoying those workouts. They became easier and I could push myself harder. And just the energy factor, it was nice to see myself getting strong, from graduating from bottles to 3 pounds to 5 pounds of weights, and all those things. There's such lovely memories, Chitra.
Oh,
So
it was so
yeah.
fun. It was so fun to watch that. And I mean, it's not just about weight loss, right? Let's talk about, in terms of energy levels and, how your digestion improved, because I remember that was something that came up as well.
So initially, I remember day one when we kicked in, the first thing you said was, we want to drink this much water and let's eat clean. I was like, damn, am I going to be able to do this? So, but again, step by step, I broke down again, whatever you said, say a gallon of water. I started with like 80 and then moved myself gradually up there, but immediately, just doubling up that water immediately showed differences in my body. I was feeling lighter, my the digestion had improved. So the food was kind of challenging in the beginning, just on my carbs, just my
Mm,
basic Indian meals,
right.
especially during the evenings. But otherwise, I think throughout the day you broke it down very well. I don't feel deprived anymore.
Yeah.
So,
And I
uh,
think that's what makes it sustainable, right? If you start to feel deprived, then you can't stick to it. It doesn't have to be, a journey filled with deprivation and frustration. You can have your cake and eat it too. You just need to find a system and learn how to manage the food better.
yep.
That's awesome. Let's talk about the community part of the program, right? I mean, I know, in this program, you got to have a lot of community and support. Let's talk about some of the friendships you made along the way. what was that experience like, having other people kind of struggling with the same
Oh, the
struggle?
girls were awesome. They were so motivating, and it was just wonderful to be in the journey with them. Because they had their struggles, and we were so open with our struggles to each other. With our weekly check-in calls, those were kind of. There were so many times I would relate to somebody who was already talking about what I'm going through, and like, hey, I'm there with you, and you would have the answer to resolving that. And then we would motivate each other with these workouts. It was just wonderful to have that bond. And then when we lost weight together, that was fun to celebrate.
I think it takes away that feeling of being alone in that journey. And I know for me too, personally, that's what had changed things, is knowing that I wasn't alone. So that's awesome. So let's talk about, if someone who's listening right now is relating to your story and is like, oh my God, this is exactly who I am, and this is what I feel like. What would you say to them if they're kind of stuck in a rut and they're looking to change things? Like,
So, just stepping back the way I was, I always felt like, a little research here and there, learning to eat right, going whatever is currently booming, like the intermittent diet or whatever. You can just join that and research a little bit and, work your way out.
follow the
But,
trends. Yeah.
but yeah, but there's so much more when you just trust one person and their experience that they bring, and follow them through with it and let them guide you. I think for me it was the first time, Chitra, but I think I'm so glad that it was just the right thing, to do. And basically, having an experienced person by your side, it just cuts the agony of researching yourself. What do I eat? How much do I work out? Am I doing enough? Am I eating right? But I was like, I didn't even have had to worry about that. And then, the scale just spoke for me. Forget about even the scale. You always mentioned about trying to find non-scale wins,
Yeah.
all those things. So even those things, so results were bound to come. So at least I knew the results were coming in 100%. The only thing I had to do was trust your experience, and just stay on track, which you helped us do. So it feels really easy. There's a big
Mm,
burden that comes off of you, and
wow.
that was the most thing I enjoyed in this journey, actually. And
Yeah.
so many things that we learned, right? It was a huge investment to just learn about meal planning, workouts. You made sure we had the right forms. You kept us challenged with our cardios.
We had
The
our
little.
fun contests.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
fun. We had fun. I know you guys were a special group because you were my first. And you're always gonna hold a
And
special
we
place
made
in
you
my heart.
proud.
You did. You guys all did so great, and it really, gives me that sense of fulfillment and purpose. And I know that I'm in the right field, doing the right thing, following my passion when I see the results and I see what you're saying. Because, honestly, it is a journey, and you have to be ready to take it on. But once you're ready, I love what you said about the coaching process, and not just because it was about me, but really, I personally have started to value coaching so much that I tell people, if you want to go, you know a little bit ahead in your journey, try to do it on your own. But if you want to make big leaps, like, find a coach who will help you get there. You'll get there a lot faster. And I apply that with my kids now. When they want to learn something new, I'm like, listen, let's get those one-on-one lessons. Let's get those, get a good coach. It's worth it, because you will get so much more out of it in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad to hear that you experienced that. And it's coming together in a community is always something that makes your experience even better. But that's amazing. Oh my God, this has been such a fun conversation. Thank you so much for being so open and willing to have this conversation with me. I absolutely miss our group and the fun we had, and I loved watching your transformation. I am going to post a link to your picture before and after, so everybody who is listening and watching can go check it out. But Thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule to be with me. And I appreciate you and all of that fun stuff that you shared with me. Thank you.
Thank you. I owe a big one to you. And thank you for doing the Empowered program. And I know so many more would take advantage of it and feel the great things that we felt.
Oh,
So it is an awesome program, and I wish you all the best. To go get more people out there and make more warriors.
yeah. Well,
But
I
you
love
this
that
is
your son is
empowered.
now working out with you, and you're spreading the love in the family. So I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the whole
Fantastic.
family is on their fitness goals now. We all have our goals. We all work out together. It's become the new thing for the
I love
family
it.
to do together. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. How awesome was that? Another episode in the books. I want to hear what your favorite takeaways were from today's episode. Don't be shy. Write to me in my DMs or tag me in on social media and let me know what your favorite part was. What is one actionable item that you are going to take away from today? Because we can listen all we want, but if we don't implement, then we're not getting anywhere closer to our goals. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening. Thank you for being a part of my warrior tribe. I appreciate every single one of you. And I would love it if you would hit subscribe or leave a review because that will help me get to more people that need to hear this.